finally, there is a little bit of movement on it. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals has set verbal arguments tentatively for the week of December 18th, 2014, which is really good news for us because that means that we're probably going to get a decision sometime right after the first of the year, maybe the later part of January, the first part of February. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's a lot sooner than we had expected. Right now, the NRA has right around $400,000 of their money in the lawsuit, and the Rifle and Pistol Association has got about $350,000–400,000 as well. It's been an expensive fight, but it's well worth it because what is the Second Amendment worth? What are your Second Amendment rights worth? That brings me up to another issue. I'm skipping around here a lot because there's just a whole lot of things going on. I don't know if anybody has seen the BS that's going around on the internet that the NRA and the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association aren't supporting Rob Astorino. Has anybody seen that on the internet?
Money, not support.
Oh, no, both, okay? First of all, let me say, the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association was the first group out of any of the groups to endorse Rob Astorino. And we have been working with Rob Astorino from day one. Does anybody know what the most important part of the campaign is?
Television.
No. The last 30 days. Okay? The last 30 days. And the report that came out in Politico was not what the NRA had planned to give. It was what the NRA had already given in last reporting periods. There are, I don't know if you know this or not, but for PACs and political action groups, there are reporting periods where you have to itemize every single dollar you give and who you give it to. You don't tell people ahead of time what you're going to do or what you're not going to do. That's just stupid politics. Although there are some people in some groups in the state who do that kind of thing. The NRA is going to mail to all 300,000 members in New York State, do a postcard mailing to all 300,000 people in New York State. They're also going to do a robocall a few days before election, or maybe even on election day, to remind people to go out and vote for Astorino. They're also donating money. And we have been working with Astorino from day one. I talk to Rob personally 2 or 3 times a week. I strategize with him. He is very happy with what the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association and the NRA is doing. You haven't seen any complaints from him, have you? All you have seen are people from other groups around the state trying to badmouth the NRA and the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. It's not true. You will see after the election is over, we will post how much money that the NRA spent and that the Rifle and Pistol spent. And I guarantee you, it'll be 4 or 5 times more than all the rest of the groups combined. Guaranteed. Now, the real reason I'm here is we're pushing an effort with the Conservative Party of New York State to urge all of the conservatives and the Republicans to vote for the candidate of their choice on the Conservative Party line. Anybody have any idea why we're doing that?
Get the Conservative Party boost to them.
Well, not only that, yes, but also to send a message to the Republicans. You have to remember, it was the Republican Senate who gave the okay for the SAFE Act to come up for a vote.
Right.
Okay? Does anybody here know how many New York State Republican senators have endorsed Rob Astorino? Anybody have any idea? None. I should say the two. Two. Kathy Marchone and Tom O'Meara from Sherman County. None of the rest of them have endorsed Astorino at all. And a matter of fact, they've traveled with the governor and they've been at events with the governor where they've they've stood up and said, Andrew Cuomo is a great governor. He's a good governor for New York State. Marcelino, Senator Marcelino from Long Island, this past weekend, spoke for 15 minutes at a pretty large rally down in Nassau County, and he spoke about Andrew Cuomo for 15 minutes. Tom Mangano, the county manager or the county executive of Nassau County, endorsed Andrew Cuomo. Everybody remember Pothole Al? You guys know who I'm talking about, right? D'Amato, that's right. Al D'Amato started a group called Republicans for Cuomo, and the reason Astorino doesn't have any money is that he's kept the big donor Republicans from donating to Astorino. Now, what I find is the biggest shame of all in this. Now I'll let that go for a minute. Okay, so that's why we're urging that everyone vote on the Conservative Party line so that it sends a message to the Republicans that, hey, you got to move a little to the right. Because you know what happens if the Conservatives get more votes than the Republicans? Republicans lose line too. And that's what we'd really like to have happen. We don't want to see them go out, we don't want to see them become defunct. Okay, we need the Republican Party. But somehow we have to take it back. And this is a good way to start doing it. Now, the biggest shame of all, does anybody have any idea how many gun owners there are in New York State? That's one of the numbers. No one knows for sure. Okay, it's about between 4 and 6 million. Okay, do you know how many of those gun owners have donated to the Astorino campaign? 7,000. That's it. 7,000 out of a minimum of 4 million. That's disgraceful. Do you understand that if every gun owner in New York State donated $10, I mean, we blow $10 without knowing that we're doing it. If every gun owner had donated $10, Astorino would have had $40 million in his war chest. And I guarantee you he would have beat the governor. Well, I still think he's going to, but it would have been a lot easier to do it. He would have been able to get his word out a lot better. In closing, I'd like to say I appreciate all of the support. The monies that we've raised for the SAFE Act that the Rifle and Pistol Association has paid have come from the members and come from gun groups and come from federations. And without it, we couldn't have done it. People sometimes say that you don't release enough information. And I want to say that we release all the information we have. We will not propagandize anything that we're doing. If you sign up for our email alerts, just go to our website. You're not going to get solicited for anything. Put your name in there. Okay, not your name, put your email address. And you'll get all of our information as soon as it comes out. Or go to the website, and it's all posted on the website. We have one paid employee, and there are two people who work in the office in Albany. Brenda Leader, who is our office manager, who's a paid employee, and me. I don't get paid. And I also have a business to run. We are up to here with renewals, with answering questions. I get 200 emails a day. 200 emails a day. You know how long it takes to go through that? I start going through them at about 6:30 in the morning before I go into work, so I have time to do things. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but you have to understand that all of the money that you donate, with the exception of Brenda's salary, goes into programs, all of the shooting programs that we fund, all of the political action programs that we fund. There's not a dime of it that goes to employee benefits or anything like that other than to Brenda. So I want to thank you again, and I'm here for any questions you have to ask. Sir. Mind if I take a drink of this first? But go ahead. Go ahead, ask the question.
My name is Attilio Canty. I don't have as much a question as a comment. I've been an active Republican most of my life in this county. Been involved with the Republican Committee for many, many years. And I have to tell you, at this point in time, and this has to do with Astorino's fundraising, I have not received a single communication from his office requesting a donation. And I have to tell you, I'm always getting, at least once or twice a week, I'm getting some kind of garbage mail from some Republican conservative organization that wants my hard-earned money. But yet I've got nothing from him.
You mean personally or as?
From part of his fundraising campaign.
I don't know what to say because I've gotten a lot of them. I just don't know. I don't know how to answer that question or make a comment on that because I get one probably every other day.
You know, it doesn't bother me because I'm tired of giving money away, but
any other questions?
Do you get any legal counsel help as far as, I don't want to say pro bono, but...
Oh, no, we have to pay for it all.
I mean,
You know,
there's nobody out there to get it.
no, you know, and honestly, with a couple of exceptions, legal work is worth about what you pay for it, okay? You know, that's why one of the reasons that the SAFE Act lawsuit has cost us as much money. Does anybody know who Steve Holbrook is? Steve Holbrook is the leading Second Amendment attorney in the nation. He's the one who is supervising all of the briefs and basically writing the briefs, and is also going to argue it when it gets to the Supreme Court. Go on Google Steve Holbrook, Halbrook. You'll find he's an amazing guy. He's wrote a number of books about the Second Amendment and about firearms, and he's 5 for 5 in the Supreme Court on Second Amendment cases. There's nobody like that in this country. That's why we hired him.
A lot of people want to know what we as individuals can do that will help the most. So what would you say to that?
Okay, what I would say, and I'm glad you asked that question because I forgot about this part. The most important thing that you can do right now is make sure you're registered to vote, take a neighbor out to vote, and make sure you vote. And to borrow a little idiom from the Democrats, vote early, vote often. But I can't impress upon you the importance of getting out to vote for Rob Astorino. If Andrew Cuomo wins, kiss your rights goodbye, kiss your gun rights goodbye. You know, it's going to happen.
And assuming that we're going to vote, what's the second most important thing that we as individuals can do?
Vote on the conservative line. Send a message. You know, there's nothing else we can do. I mean, think about that. I'll get to you in a minute for your questions. Does anybody know what the not my guy syndrome is? I go around to a lot of clubs, okay, and I'm talking about the candidates and the politicians and how bad some of them are and all of that. And everybody out there is agreeing with me. They'll say, oh, yeah, you know, I agree with you and all of that. And every time after I'm through speaking and some people come up to talk to me, you know what they say to me? You know, you're absolutely right about those SOBs in Albany, but not my guy. And their guy could be the biggest offender of all. But because politics is local, and your guy comes down and glad hands you and tells you what a good job he's doing, doesn't mean it's so. That's why the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, SCOPE, and other groups put out recommendations on who to vote for. Pay attention to them. We don't do it because we go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We do it from voting records. We know how these guys voted. And so please, pay attention to the recommendations. Yes?
I tend to agree with everything you're saying about 100%, quite frankly. There's one issue that I have to say that I'm concerned about from our perspective.
Okay.
And that's the strong Republican Senate. I know there's guys out there that beat us up. We know who they are. It's the Olympus, it's the Skeletons. We get it. At the same time, it's a sense of we still need that strong Senate. What's your feeling about that? Are you willing to give up the strong Senate?
No, what you'll notice that I urged you is to vote for the candidate of your choice on the Conservative Party line. I understand about the Senate, and I'm going to beat the crap out of them as much as I can, okay? At the end of the day, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Our ratings have not come out yet, okay? For everyone who voted for the SAFE Act in the New York State Senate, they're getting Fs. That's including the 8 Republicans that voted for it. And we are not going to endorse that. For those who voted no and who haven't spoken up against the SAFE Act, we're giving Cs. Because it's outlined in the procedures that in order to be an A candidate, you have to be an outspoken, vocal candidate who has introduced pro-gun legislation or spoke up vociferously against anti-gun legislation. And there's only 2 senators that have done that. Well, there's 3, but one of them's not running now. That's Kathy Marchione and Tom O'Mara from Chemung County. Greg Ball was the most outspoken at all, and it's really too bad he's not running. But do I want to see losing the Senate? No, I don't. You know, because the only 2 hopes we have are either taking control of the Senate or electing Rob Astorino. I would like to see both of those happen, but I'll take either one. You know, I'd rather see Rob Astorino as governor, because Rob will make sure that if by chance our lawsuit is unsuccessful, with the conversations I've had with Rob, he will make sure that it's defunded and that there are some changes made to it. It's never going to be repealed. There will never be a total repeal. That won't happen. But there can be changes made to it that I'm sure Rob will do.
Well, I hope you consider Amador.
Amador's one of my best friends.
Well, I hope you do support him, as we didn't mention him. He's in some of these guys' district.
Yeah, okay, the ratings that I was talking about were incumbents, okay? George Amador is getting an A. Okay, he already has gotten an A.
Thank you.
Okay?
It's important for us to use.
Oh, absolutely, I understand that. And
he qualifies from his previous record as an assemblyman.
You know, I've known George for 10 years, okay? And that was before he went into the assembly, and I knew him because I used to shoot. Okay, and he's a pro-gun guy right from day one, and he speaks up about it and all of that, and it will be a damn shame if he doesn't beat Kachik, you know, and also everybody knows that Jonathan Soros put $300,000 in the race support against him.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
It's 97.
Yeah, I knew it was close. I couldn't remember the exact number.
300 is good.
Yeah, but that's what he's done, you know, and there's good news. Serino, who's running in, I forget what district it is, but down here in the Hudson Valley, she's up by 12 points over Gibson. Okay, Funky from Monroe County is up by 8 points, 10. No, he's up by 20 points. 20 points. And there's a couple of others, so things look good.
The Long Island seat, obviously, when the guy got burned, still Democratic, stealing money.
Yeah.
That's positive.
Yeah. Okay, but we're going to probably lose one down there with Fusillo, who he voted for the SAFE Act, but then he left the Senate to take a private sector job, and his district is like 60-40 Democrat to Republican. So we're probably going to lose that, and the Grisanti seat in Buffalo is in doubt because it's a three-way race. Grisanti got beat in a primary, and rather than withdraw, he's running on the independent line. You know, which is just, you know, there's a team player for you, isn't it? And that's a race we probably could have won if there was only two people in the race.
What about Ball? Is he a senator?
No, Ball is out. Okay.
No, but was he a senator?
Yeah, he was. Tim Murphy is a question mark. Okay, and only because, you know, I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if it's because he's not campaigning hard enough. He's not campaigning in the right way. But there's not a lot of excitement in his campaign, and the numbers that have been coming in and that are not as good as the others. It's pretty much a dead heat right now, and you know you just don't know what's going to happen in that one.
So the biggest thing is turnout.
Turnout upstate, not downstate. The thinking now is, and this is what Rob has been telling me from the very beginning, that if we can hold the New York City vote to somewhere between, if they vote only 20 to 22% of the people come out to vote, we can win. Okay, you know, New York City can control any election if they get the vote out, but a lot of them are ticked off at Cuomo, and so they're thinking it's going to be a very, very low turnout. I mean, God, I hope so. The teach-out race for the primary was, I mean, that was an eye-opener for the governor. You know, the only bad thing that came out of that is that Erie County, Monroe County, and Oneida County are the only three upstate counties that voted for Cuomo rather than catch-up. You know, and or teach-up, and I'm a little concerned about that. That they might vote for him rather than Astorino, and we're putting a lot of effort up in those areas. But the governor has promised billions of dollars to Buffalo, which is Erie County. And he's doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing in Monroe County, which is Rochester, and Oneida County is Syracuse. He's doing the same things there. And all the people see is all of these promises in the paper every day, you know, and there's a big Democratic welfare population base in all of those cities, you know, so who knows?
Send $10 to Amador, $10 to Astorino, $10 to New York State Rifle and Pistol, and turn out to vote. Turn out to vote is, and you know what? You don't even have to send any money to us, although I'd like it, as long as you promise you'll go out and vote and take somebody else with you. I mean, that's the most important thing, and you'll never ever hear me turn down money.
Tomorrow's the last day to register to vote.
Yes, it is.
Do you actually have all day tomorrow?
Yeah. It has to be postmarked tomorrow.
Postmarked, yeah.
It has to be postmarked 10th, because tomorrow's 10th.
10th, yeah, tomorrow's the 10th. Any other questions? Now's your chance. I mean, even if you have gripes, bring them up. That's what I'm here for. I don't care one way or the other. I've got thick skin, and if you have a gripe and I can solve it, I'll solve it for you. Both with the NRA and the Rifle and Pistol Association. Oh, come on.
You did good. You did good.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed this. Thank you.